Fucking hell, drum and bass is still going. What's going on, guys? That's the first Strongman session after probably a month. Been to holidays and it's been 2 weeks now back in London that I didn't have the chance to train my strongman lifts on Saturdays. First weekend we had a builder and we helped him put some concrete in the garden, in the back garden in my home gym, so I couldn't use that part for my strongman activities. And to be honest, we were working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the afternoon to get this shit done. And now I'm waiting for the concrete to settle, dry out before I build the platform on top. And it's gonna be amazing when we get there. So I brought the log out here today, and I've done some triples to begin with pause at the deep to focus on my positions. I haven't used the implement for some time now because the previous competition had the axle on it, and this one I'm doing has the log and the axle together, so I'm focusing on getting that back to normal. It was good. I've done triples at 80% after my post triples. That was around 95 kilos and it felt good. I finished with a set of 6 at the end. I'm out of breath, so you can tell I'm not in good condition for strongman, but I'm getting there. This is week 1 according to the program, and moving on to the log, moving on to the yoke, farmers and sandbags. Let's go. So today something magic happened on the yoke. Everything clicked. It felt so good from the beginning, picking up the yoke on the warm-ups. It was different than usual training sessions that I have. Usually I feel unstable, the yoke crashes my back, I can't get to a good position to get some decent speed on the run. I go right, I go left, I never go on a straight line, but this time everything was solid. What I've done differently, and I was able to go heavier for this session, is I was approaching it the same way I would approach the deadlift. I had like this ritual. I stand upright, I breathe, I brace, I get under it straight away, I set it on my back. I don't even think of the position that it's gonna sit. It's generally like in a high bar position, but I'm not too picky for how the yoke is gonna sit on my back. And then I'm driving my legs up to the yoke, but like a deadlift instead of a squat this time. Using my posterior chain, my back, my glutes, my hamstring, everything to pick that thing up, and then I'm just walking with it. I'm keeping these runs short in 10 meters and I'm holding my breath all throughout the set. That really helps me keep my stability. That's another thing that works really well on this new technique. So yeah, I feel happy that this workout, everything worked perfectly for the yoke, and I know what I'm doing right, so I can replicate it again on the next yoke session. And I feel that this is not gonna be a weakness anymore. I moved 300 kilos like never before, and it didn't even crush me at all this time. I remember in Britain's Strongest Man this year, I dropped 300 kilos at least 4 times on my run, and it was horrible. It was just horrible. So we are onto something here. After that, I've done some sandbag rows. Great variation for working with sandbags. Really works on your grip, your fingers, your back, your brace on picking up the backs, and it preps me for picking the back basically as fast as I can. and as close to my body as possible. Gets me stronger for that. It's very specific variation. You can do rows, you can do dumbbell rows, but throw this variation in every once in a while. It's brilliant. It's gonna feel so good for you. So I finished up with a set of sandbag to shoulder, 75 seconds. It was only an 80 kilo back, but it felt so hard after the 8th rep. I was out of breath, so conditioning needs work on this one. Yeah, the back felt light, the movement felt okay. I'm extending, I'm throwing it, I'm opening my legs like a power clean to drop a little bit under. I want to do this much better on the next session, drop even lower under the back, so I don't need to muscle that weight with my back, just drop under it. Yeah, there's so many weightlifting techniques that can be used for this sort of movements. You just need to be explosive, rip it off and throw it on your shoulder. That's the whole point. So this is when I got gassed out. I'm looking at the time, there's another 15 seconds, so I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do another rep. Fuck it. So I went for it and done. That was it. Not so glamorous. Alright guys, that was the end of the workout. Finished up with the sandbags. I'm dead. A lot of reps in 75 seconds with the 80 kilo back. Keeping it light, working on my conditioning. That's the first thing I've got to do. I have to get my conditioning back up to speed before I start lifting heavier loads. So, 8 more weeks to go. See you in the next one.